burning brightly, shining on the
insane
because you're now forcing his plays consistently, at least. I mean, we see a lot of it at the pro level, but the ones that do it the most is definitely like Dreamland and then also Rad. Like these two, Mason, specifically Guru, love to do that sort of stuff and sort of bring that idea to their team. But now that point's getting unlocked, Shib, and nobody has the objective on side of Dreamland. So, oh, they touched last second. Don't give up that point, but they're already in a bad position, and there it is.
Like that, Dreamland take the point. 25% on Fire is really not that much for the first hold.
And that is interesting that Fire actually commit the Loki instead of like Invisible Woman and the Luna, for example, right? So there are, sorry, with Invisible Woman on the side of with Etsu, right? So they assume they have enough damage, right? They're trying to just sort of live. I don't think in that case Super Gomez even
the ticker now on 60%, 25 here for Fire Strays. The Meteor Ram, does this one land after the combination? It does. Chuckles onto Etsu and Lying now, and that is again a huge combo as you use Phoenix to break all shields and get that free meatball to the dome of the front line. In fact, I believe the team trying to maintain position, but that's a two-piece now for Mace as Lion goes down as well as Etsu. Double strategist pick. So much value. Valentina now going to fight as we start once more. The double portal on point instantaneously. The team's not doing anything crazy with them. Just going to use them to try to take this early. We will see Group now from the side of British Tree, ready with that Strangling Prison now. It's all about who falls first. Lion going to bring out the Faith. Out goes Stinkers and Valentina. The combination does not find anything yet. One fine value. Up we go as ZQ takes out Chime. Chuckles tries to land the meteor, does not, but ZQ gets 2, make it 3 as Gibbery falls. Chime gonna self-res back, but at that point is gonna fall once more to ZQ. And now Fire Strays have the pressure on the point and will be getting it early.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say they lost the fight early when they didn't combine Chuckles and Stinkers combination. Basically nothing on Dreamland's side.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea was to try to damage boost with Stinkers there and Gibbery, but I don't believe it worked out. It might have been the slow from this side of Xantho. They could not collide with each other just due to the nature of not being able to get there with the damage boost. So I think that's what happened is now we see the Strangling Prison towards the back line, immediately going to be matched by a Bond. Nobody falls just yet. British Tree does find a few in the Strangling, but it is not comboed. Stinkers up against Etsu, and we see that immediately. All those ults not able to get enough value to stop that res from coming through. A huge res again by Chime, but remember, Fire Strays 82% on. British Tree gonna find Valentina. The res is ready for Etsu though on the side of Fire, so they can keep this pressure going forward. Excuse me, Dreamland does not have res. ZQ gonna find Stinker. Super Gomez now onto Chime, and now it's looking like the polar opposite of the last map as Fire Strays are playing lights out still with res advantage in this next fight. And can they get the... And here comes that potential play from Super Gomez on the freeze as it goes through map. Does it land? We are not sure yet. Across the map we go. The portal does come through. The shield did block as they start once more. Both on the high side. Great positioning, but uh-oh. ZQ might have the jump up. Guy making the change over here to be on that Phoenix. Gibbery onto Super Gomez. Lying off map just to reset with the team. And now Dreamland up with the point. Almost at 20% and holding.
I want to use our new replay viewer to see what happened to Mace there in the last fight. Pause coming out. That it stuns you after you pull somebody. Here comes British Tree, pulled back into a Sonic Seduction, but he's met with a shield to keep him alive.
Mace with a pretty mean Psionic here, trying to throw the shield behind the strategist so they can't be healed up. A very smart play for those who are playing Emma. Use your shield as a means to cut LOS of healing. It's a very good way to play Emma. It is the way to play Emma. And then just keep being aggro there, obviously, with Diamond Form. And this is a mean last stand opportunity. Up it goes. It does not pan out too much, but Chime going to be able to find Etsu as Stinkers keeps the damage up. Is going to drop back, try to charge off those walls a little bit. 45 here.
It's Stinkers on Wolverine. But we'll see if they've learned. Fire Strays hiding with the Strangling Prison. There it is.
Yeah, and we are going to wall off here. Going to be followed up at a great focus there to burn Phoenix out of the end song. We see the tackle there from Wolves. Stinkers goes down. British Tree with some great positioning here. Going to try to set back to the point, but remember, it's still only about 35 on here for Fire. We are going to try to keep this pressure on. Ult advantage still up here for Fire Strays, who do have those strategist backline ults ready for action. Again, we talked about the sustain in the long game, and that is what I'm talking about as we see 2 strat ults ready to counter. Super
who blocks it with his face, not even using a passive to save it and save his team. But they're still touching the point right now, Dreamland is. Or sorry, Fire Strays are trying to make sure they contain the point until just about now. But Super Gomez finds Chime and they're working themselves back into it, Chip.
Yeah, I mean, this is some great positioning plays here. Fire again, still holding his position. Out we go with Super Gomez, potentially forcing out anything that they have. Dreamland doesn't... Wow, Sinkers is going to find Super Gomez out of the sky, likely from the trance there, which is a great play to find the Wolverine taking a Star-Lord out of the sky like that. Mace with the early pick. Super Gomez is down, going to be coming back with fist to try to get there quickly, using those cooldowns to fly in. Mace going to keep the pressure on, heading towards the off map, and a great push, which leads to Z-Cube now going up with a Meteor M and throws it, unfortunately, right into his shield. Here we go with the end song, but that gets touched by the map coming up and stopping it. Super Gomez comes in, though. Z-Cube on the Mace. Is the retake going to happen now as Fire goes up in numbers? This is so back and forth. Etsu ready with a res on Fire. Straight Super Gomez is going to be running to the back line. Everyone's falling here.
You still fight like the sun and
The Jeff has been a staple.
Down here under bridge. If you are pressured, that is the place to go. As we see the portal come through on the defense from Z-Cube. Just trying to wall off some of that high side angle. Very smart portal play. That is your goal every time you come back with portal. Try to put it in a spot that's going to mess with the enemy team. Don't just use it to get back in touch. Try to get some more value out of it. As the pressure comes in here, Stinker's going to be chasing Super Gomez forever and does find that pick, and that's going to be good there for the attack side of Dreamland, who are rely on point one. There hasn't been a ton of long holds on point one.
Yeah, you're right. Have not been. Hulk going too far in that fight. Chuckle is going to go down to Super Gomez, who swaps over. And it makes sense. Super Gomez, I think, on Star-Lord first point, maybe overcommitted, right? Went too far. Probably didn't think too much of the potential.
Age of Ultron, they're putting some focus there onto the Hulk, who is going to have to drop back, and that is Chuckles now. As Gibbery gets a pick on to Super Gomez. Chuckles on a Lying and Stinkers on a Z-Cube. Dreamland is walking point two now.
Yeah, this Jeff comp really isn't working at the current moment. I mean, they're playing like a front-to-back style with the Bucky, but honestly, I think the comp sort of works even stronger with the Star-Lord instead, right? It's tough to see the Bucky out here just because
the defensive strategy to head backwards, going to try to focus this, and they do, as Chime takes out the End Song Inferno in this guy, and not a lot of value with any of those ults, as everybody is just on a counter fest here, forcing Dreamland to retake together and wait up for Mace.
Yeah, still a good fight there for Fire, right? I mean, so many abilities, cooldowns, ultimates used to sort of peel off, you know, both Super Gomez's ult and also British Trees. And then eventually the Ultron's Rage from Chime. There's kind of runaways. I think he's been leveling up for sure. But Invisible Boundary match for the Ultron's Rage on the backside. Pulled in, forcing out now. That Fate of the Worlds from that Luna Snow on the point.
And here we go with the Kraken Impact, using that as a way to iframe some of this stun here with the Sonic Seduction. He's going to drop back behind point to make sure that doesn't happen. But we do use a fair amount of cooldowns, as Zetsu is just going to...
Time specifically is a huge catalyst, and he wasn't involved in going 18-0. Also creating space on his own. I mean, this guy has really impressed me like throughout his entire career, but especially him and Stinkers have done a good job, I think, putting themselves back on the map, and, you know, throughout their tryouts, throughout going, you know, through the ringer of Tier 2. Really impressive stuff out of them to consistently play this well and also get better every week.
Yeah, just a tag team with that. I mean, Chime also a leader of comms.
Res advantage at least, right? But at the moment, Whale comes in now. Everybody slams. Xantho goes down.
Yeah, Stinker's going to find Xantho, but Etsu finds Stinkers. The res comes back onto Xantho, so the numbers again back on Fire Strays, who should be up. Chime trying to find an off angle here for Ultron's Rage. That could be really well played. Just right when that E was being committed by Strange. Just great understanding, you know, without any strategist having a good LOS there on those Vanguards. Not much you can do, but they held on for a while. We see a very different time spread here. Point one is going to be taken relatively early, but not as early.
Whale met by a shield, and also everybody else kind of falling back for it. This is an absolute slugfest ship. I mean, we have triple strategists and Namor for both teams, and you know, neither side really have a ton of lethality outside of that, and maybe their Vanguard play.
Yeah, I mean, you highlighted well before in our previous matchup that this is a good Namor map simply due to the fact that it's very lane focused, and you could put Squids on the high angle, and there really isn't a lot of escape from the...
Try to back cap too because he's invisible. Wait, they could get off of it. Imagine. They know he's lurking though, right? Yeah, they're looking for him. They're spy checking around. They potentially... Wait, he could maybe cap this? Maybe he wants them to fight early and back cap it shit. It could happen. It could bait the team.
This could be wild.
Oh my god.
I imagine I need to be quiet for him, like, you know what I mean? This is correct. It's on. Out we go to the invisible boundary. Etsu going to make sure they are not walking, trying to break and focus on the Squids. Etsu ready with the whale at any moment. Will likely come in here soon. There is going to be no damage boost, so instead it's going to be looking to land directly in the center. This one goes back out. It's matched evenly. Neither of which of the whales are going to get a meal there. Instead, they're both just going to do a little bit of damage. Everybody pressing the Q button. Another invisible boundary gets popped, this time on the side of...
Up like... That's just kind of what happened.
Just crushing the hopes of the forward movement, but Dreamland sweeps virtually everyone on the defense now. 2 seconds on, and there will be no portal touch as OT is ticking down. That should be it, unless we see an insane dive in here from something, and they do get the touch, but not for long.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you had to shift up or something for the crystals.
Try to put some eyes in a different direction while the rest of the team owns that height. Try to get one strategist back on main. Everybody else is going to float up there and play around, likely the drone from Chime, which is used and keeping the team up. Stinkers just dealing some raw damage, very low HP. Good drop out there on the defense from ZQ. We're going to elect to drop back to the team, get healthy, and start once more. Forced out a couple cooldowns, but it's all about building ults right now. They have the time, a minute 30 available. If they get these ults, play slow, they can retouch with Portal. With moment, ZQ keeping the pressure on. Stinkers, though, going to find Lying. The attack now is up again. The dance floor out for Gibbery and Chuckles, who just waited a little bit. Xantho with a slightly better strategist ult, holding on just a little bit. Super Gomez going to get that pick, and Stinker's going to find F2. It's a trade fest. It's all about who can hold this point at the very end. Its numbers are traded back and forth, and Dreamland now slightly down a number. Valentina going to teleport in, and we're going to see a shake-up. May's going to find Super Gomez, though, and they're still on this point.
And they need healing, though. Hopes and dreams are still alive because right? Maybe with that old...
You can see that from Blade, but we haven't seen any Blade play here so far at this level of play. But again, another one of those heroes that will be getting buffed in the next pack. We'll see what that looks like. Super Gomez, she's doing a ton of damage, getting close to that ult, and that's all you want to do is ult is available and ready. But that combination with the British Tree could be everything. Will they be able to make it happen? We'll find out shortly.
He's throwing the double right click, potentially with the damage boost. No, actually doesn't even need to. Only Moon Knight mains in the entire tournament, or at least ones that plays a ton of it. Yeah, and if he can't make it work versus Dreamland, which he did eventually, I mean, these guys are well practiced versus one of the best teams at that comp, basically.
Yeah, I've seen it firsthand that Moon Knight is obscene, and Moon Knight very much one of the answers here, as we have seen. Super Gomez is going to be switching off that Moon Knight as we have the discussion, finding a pick instantly onto Chuckles. Dang, there it goes. The Meteor M right onto the head of Xantho. Super Gomez going to find the shotty to the face of committed. It might have been from Chuckles, though, to come back on the point. It is, yeah.
Yeah, it is. You know, maybe if Super Gomez had the swimsuit skin and so did the Invisible One on the other side, maybe he could have sweat slow.
Yeah, and they're going to follow up now, trying to press in off that Eternal Bond and get more value. Ooh, a ton of damage, but not enough to get the pick. Out goes the shotty, and this is where it gets dicey for the strategists. They're very close, and they're going to have to heavy commit. Here we go.
Yeah, can they body block them? Nope. 1.59 meters, but it's into here. Everybody of Sneakers now comes in with a blast of barrage. Everybody else going to fall shortly to Chime in the sky ship.
Oh, wow. This is an insane ult, and that is going to do it as they walk through.
Fire strays from the very beginning, right? That's the thing. Like, they win. Dreamland get it done in a close fashion. I don't.